On May 31, 2013, a large violent EF3 hit Reno, Oklahoma and killed 8 people. It was first rated EF5 but didn't do enough damage, but there is evidence that it was the strongest tornado in recorded history and was the widest tornado ever at 2.6 miles wide. The tornado was rain-wrapped and multi-vortex but could have been a lot worse, as the massive city of Oklahoma City was only 10 miles to the east of the tornado. A mid to upper level trough was located in the upper Midwest that would cause severe weather on May 31 in Tornado Alley. Also, a pretty strong polar jet moved from the Rockies to the southern Great Plains. Because of the unstable conditions, the SPC gave a moderate risk for central to northeastern Oklahoma and a slight risk of severe weather over the Great Plains. A 60% damaging hail risk was issued for central Oklahoma and 45% risk for central to northeastern Oklahoma, very southeastern Kansas and southwestern Missouri. A 30% damaging wind risk was issued in central Missouri and northeastern Oklahoma. The most concerning one was the tornado demographic that had a 15% risk. The day of May 31 was very nice in the plains of central Oklahoma, with dew points in the upper 60s and lower 70s and temps in the low to mid 80s, but this nice weather wouldn't last for long, as soon the strongest tornado in human history would begin. A layer of wind shear would help these supercells explode in intensity and cause supercells later in the day. At around 3 p.m. a PDS tornado watch was issued for northeastern Oklahoma around Interstate 44 because the conditions were so probable for tornadoes, as linear thunderstorm complex was rapidly developing around Highway 81 at about 4 petameters. A tornado warning was issued by the National Weather Service in Norman, Oklahoma for Canadian County. An insane and scary wall cloud was formed as YouTuber and storm chaser Pico's Hank captured some insane footage of the tornado and wall cloud. The tornado first dropped down at 6:03 p.m. and quickly widened as it was causing EF0 damage to trees for the most part. It crossed Reuter Road as an EF1 as it became multiple vortex and widened even more. This is about the time the tornado completely exploded in size as it crossed Reno Road West. The tornado strengthened to an EF3 and a tornado emergency was issued for El Reno at 6:56 p.m. The tornado then again exploded in size, far bigger than anyone imagined was even possible, as around this time. As a weird thing about this tornado was that the actual funnel of it was way smaller than the tornado actually was. Combining this with it being the strongest tornado of all time and being rain-wrapped caused an extremely dangerous situation. So this is what caught amateur storm chaser Richard Henderson off guard, as he got picked up by the tornado and thrown hundreds of feet and died. And it wasn't just amateur storm chasers were getting killed by the tornado, as professionals Tim Samaras, his son Paul, and other storm chaser Carl Jung, who were the makers of the famous TV show Storm Chasers and were part of a group called the Twist X Team, were storm chasing in a worst-case scenario, as they were basically in the tornado, as they were just northeast of the tornado, but they were a lot closer than they realized because of the clear outer winds, but they did have a good view of the tornado. This came with great risks, as the chasers got caught in the outer winds and their Chevy Cobalt that wasn't suitable for the high winds was thrown hundreds of feet, as none of the storm chasers survived, as these were the first recorded deaths of professional storm chasers and scientists. Mike Betties was storm chasing for the Weather Channel, as his car was thrown around 600 feet and miraculously survived with serious injuries like a broken neck and fractured vertebrae. Dan Robinson, another storm chaser, was taken over by the outer circulation of the tornado. Similarly to the Twist X team, in fact, he was only around 200 feet behind them and was in the right position not to get hit by the most powerful part of the tornado and survived. The tornado then dissipated near Banner, Oklahoma. The tornado had 8 deaths, as all of the casualties were from people in vehicles. This situation could have been way worse because this tornado occurred during rush hour, and if it hit congested highways, it would be a mass casualty event. Also, the city of El Reno is about 10 miles to the west of downtown Oklahoma City, so if the tornado started 10 miles to the east it would hit one of the most tightly populated cities in America. So image the strongest and largest tornado in human history going through one of the most tightly populated cities at rush hour. So if that happened, this tornado would have probably been the deadliest tornado ever. So this was a best case scenario what actually happened. Even if it only hit El Reno directly, it would still be a mass casualty situation. One of the most confusing things about this tornado was the low rating. Think about it, the largest tornado and maybe the strongest tornado ever recorded only got an EF3 rating. The reason for this is because the new EF scale goes by damage, not by the wind speed like the previous F scale, and it didn't hit many houses at all, thankfully, because it didn't directly hit El Reno, but the houses that did get hit were destroyed. The Raxball Doppler radar first recorded 296 mile-an-hour winds plus or minus 20, but there was evidence that the wind speeds could be up to 302 miles an hour. The entire tornado community still is conflicted if the tornado should be rated EF5. It was even originally rated EF5, then downgraded, so do think it should have been rated higher. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe so I can hit 1,000 subscribers.